Tuesday, August 18th, 2020, 7:02 p.m. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Councilman Galindo, can you lead us? Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Join the meeting.
Mayor present. Vice Mayor Marta Garcia. Councilman Miguel Villalpando.
Present.
Councilman Carlos Gonzalez. Councilman Carlos Gonzalez. He's there. He was saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I see him on.
Yeah, he's there. And Councilman Luis Galindo. Present. Councilman Jesus Roldan. Present. And Councilman Juan Castillo.
Present.
Thank you, Mayor. You do have a forum this evening. Moving on, call to the public.
I can't hear you guys.
Nobody from the public. Moving on to consent agenda, we have 3 items in consent agenda. Item number 1, check register for the month of July. Item number 2, approval of May 19th, 2020 regular council meeting minutes. Approval of June 2nd, 2020 work session minutes. Item number 3, discussion and possible action to approve the Western Arizona Council of Government wake-up contract for fiscal year 2020. Is there any questions? And Councilmember wants to remove an item from consent agenda?
I don't want to remove an item. I just want, I don't know, follow up or next meeting if we can get, or if we are receiving the invoice from Ms. Corona, it's those and provided any update on the productivity of the solar.
Yes, thank you. Vice Mayor Garcia, I'll make that note.
Is there a motion to approve consent agenda?
Second, Mayor.
A motion by Councilman Galindo, second by Councilman Roldan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We have 1 item in presentation. The discussion on improvement districts in relation to contracting landscaping services for fiscal year 2021.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is an item presentation from Parks and Rec Director Jesus Mesa. As you recall, earlier this summer, there was a switch in some of the duties between the Public Works Director and the Parks and Rec Director. Public Works took over the maintenance of Main Street, and primarily the Parks and Rec Director took over, maintenance of improvement districts. So his presentation will center around possible, maintenance or outside services for the maintenance of these districts.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This is Mesa Parks and Recreation Director. We're looking for the file. There seems to be technical problem here with the
If
file.
you go down, there should be more after that. The map and everything, right? It's page 35.
35? Yeah. So let me start just from the beginning. This is basically an update of the presentation. See where we're at basically with the improvement districts. Of course, the intention is to move forward with an RFP and contract out some of the areas or all the possible areas for contractual services in terms of landscape maintenance. This would include basically all the basic and general maintenance of the improvement districts. We are not really contemplating right now projects like repairs and all that because the budget's going to be limited. But if possible, it's going to involve also the repairs and projects. Having said that, the objective, of course, is to highlight the main points right now that it's involving this process. It's going to be hopefully a very positive transition for the Parks Department and for the whole city. This is going to highlight the level of service is going to be our main objective, trying to improve the service, the areas to be in better shape. This is going to improve the morale of the whole community. This is a map. It's one of the older maps that we have available. It's showing that the green areas are the areas that Parks Department is currently maintaining as of July 1st, 2020. As you may know, we took over the retention areas in general scope of work. We were basically working together with Public Works. They were taking care of about 45% of the areas. Now it's basically all parks. Any questions on the map part of this presentation? I wanted to highlight some key points that it's involved in this whole process. You may know there's 21 improvement districts currently here at the city, but that doesn't reflect the whole scope of work. There's actually 40 retention areas that are part of an improvement district because some of the improvement districts have several retention areas. So it's like 1, 2, at times even 3. So that accumulates a total of 33 acres, which is a whole lot of green areas, considering that most of the time we only have 5 or 6 parks employees. Right now we're working with actually 4 and trying to get on board the other 2. So it's very, very critical that we do something about this whole situation. The recommendation from Parks Department and Parks and Recreation Department is that we move forward with an RFP that involves contracting out landscape services for these improvement districts. Any questions on the points?
Questions, comments?
Yes, exactly. The improvement districts are 40 total actual improvement retention areas basically, but there's an additional 17 non-improvement district areas, also retention areas, plus our flagship parks, which are of course JCC, Joe Munoz, Bouncy Park. We also take up Reynoso and still here at Spring. So it's a lot of parks. It's not only the retention areas, plus it's the other projects that our department is involved in. So that's the idea. Getting as much help as possible on the improvement districts. We actually have a budget that comes in and out because it's in the taxes and all that. So.
That's right. You saw Bill Clinton trying to focus people on what he said the job is, which is
You're showing us the key points. Does that mean that you've already completed the time study?
We started, it's in process actually. We started doing it officially in July. We inputted the information already on the system for the whole month of July. We're halfway through August right now. In the system, I mean, iWorks.
Information collected on what you're presenting us right now?
No, this is basically an update. The time study we're looking for is 3 months, so that we're incorporated July, August, and September.
Reliable, and it's easy for everyone to participate.
Those are non-district,
Well
is
over
there a difference in
and this year we're
time of
expecting
math?
that's what
Compare
Democrats here in Utah agree. Mail-in voting strengthens our democracy.
So it's just one, some neighborhoods.
And 16
How this works, when the developers came to the city, that's the arrangement that was done with the city. Some of them were made to turn into an improvement district, and some others were just handed out to the city. So we're in this basically together. We had to find a way to, of course, improve the level of service for all of them because they're all important. It's not just the improvement districts because they're paying those taxes. It's also the others that are part of the city, and they're worth the same to us as a department. We have to break them apart and try to find a way to maintain them all as best as possible, basically. There's 17, as I mentioned, non-district retention areas.
Yeah, I think all those mayors that want to go out of the district to come out of parks.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I think in 2002, 2003, that's when they started putting it into districts. Yeah. But before that, all Amistad 1, Amistad 2, and SoCal Gardens, and all those, they have no districts. And there's some that are pretty big and some are not. But I think just if we do district landscaping, it will help. You know, I know it's going to come out of your budget, but at least we can take care of those and how the company or the contractor, you know, take care of the rest. That will give you more, you know, to your employees so they can take care of those.
Yeah, and that's a good point because the staff is also going to keep taking care of all the other areas. There's a lot of acreage, of course. The repairs, any projects that are done at the sites, it's going to be on the staff. So it's only going to be the regular maintenance, cutting the shrubs, pesticide cleaning, all the basics. It's not going to be really projects or repairs, more like most likely.
And I would like for you to consider maybe in the next coming years, those sections that are not in districts and they're not used for like park facilities, they're just all retention basins that we can start looking at Clearscape, a plan into turning those over the next year so we can reduce maintenance and of course if they're not used for park, if they're just strictly retention basins, just do some of those treatments. Initially it'll cost more, but I think in the long run it'll be more efficient for staff.
And Mayor, I believe those don't have a district. They also don't have any sprinkler system, right?
Yeah, some of them don't have a sprinkler system.
Yeah, just basically as a retention.
So yeah.
So even
So let's start planning there for the next fiscal years and just start upgrading some of those and doing low maintenance.
Yeah.
I guess they did last year because we were by Sunflower and Federal. They did, but they put rocks around it, but weeds grew up and we grew some.
Yeah, of course, maintenance.
Yeah, there's maintenance involved in everything. I mean, even if it's zero landscaping, the pesticide control and all that, it's going to be a factor, but it's a little bit more practical when you're short-staffed and all that.
Okay, with the time study, it'll show you that Clearscape is less maintenance than lawn retention.
Yeah.
Do you think we can approve those areas where there's no district they wanna, the residents, I know it has to be 50% of the residents say yes, that they want a district, so we can maintain those and make them turn into like little parks for the kids or something. Is there a possibility we can do that?
There's one site actually, Mr. My parks supervisor here, he can provide a little more details on. We have an idea in mind for one of the other developing. I didn't hear the question. A new site for that's developing.
Actually, Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Councilman Villafano, go ahead.
We could probably use CDBG funding for those improvements on those retention basins. So that's probably look into that option. But I really don't want to put on hold some of these improvements, especially in the districts, because they do pay for the improvements. And so if it's next year, then they need to come up with a solid plan to actually start improving some of these retention basins. I live virtually across one. They ended up putting a curbing around the base of the retention basin. For what? I don't know, but you bet that they charge the district. I mean, if they're going to come in there and do retention basins, then do the whole thing and make sure you do it right. Regrade, because the way I see it, I'm going to be absorbing some of that cost for the retention basin. So if you guys are going to be doing something, make sure you do it right. Don't do just a quick fix just to cover cosmetic stuff. I mean, go in there and actually grade these retention basins so they could hold the amount of water, storm drain water they were meant to hold.
Yeah, so, I would say analyze each retention basin, and of course, probably can't do that in 1 year, but eventually let's start working into at least those that are in improvement districts to improve them, and then the others, like Councilman Villafano said, maybe we can use CDBG and improve those. So let's come up with a game plan, but I think the item at hand right now is the outsourcing of the maintenance for retention basins, and we talked about it in the retreat, and that was something that we were expecting to have it here and get it rolling.
Yeah, I think that's the best start right now. I mean, of course, we want to do the best route or the best plan for the city, and of course, take into consideration the budget, the staff, but do something that's actually going to have a positive impact, not just do something randomly. And the plan is to have the staff a little bit, have more time to actually work on some projects, because right now they can't really touch any kind of sort of projects. Right now it's been some time to invest some time and some work because of the situation with COVID, but when everything's back to normal, hopefully soon, I mean, the staff don't have any time to work on projects, basically. But with contracting out some of the work, it's going to help. We're able to grade the parks and be able to do some projects at the different sites, because most of the sites are going to need a lot of work. It's the honest reality. Any further comments on the key points?
So hopefully we start working on a plan on how to convert those, and here in the next couple months we can start discussing it, and even if we don't start this fiscal year, but if there's some funds available, we can on a couple, but for the next years that we can't do that.
Yeah. Here's the projected budget we have. We ran those numbers with our colleague from the finance department. It's projections, but they're pretty hard numbers. The levy amount that was budgeted for last year, for this year, it's $171,000. The expenditures are breaking even. We're not making any money, but we're holding on. The budget for utilities, it's a total of $87,600 for the whole year. So we're basically left over with 83,400. That's the total we have for the whole year that we could use for contracting out labor for landscaping services. What do you see below those numbers? It's a projection for 3 months. The 14,400, it's basically the total amount of utilities for 3 months. For the 3 months that we're projecting, we might go for the RFP. We're hoping to start the RFP process soon. We're able to contract out some of the work by November or the end of this year. So that's based on a 3-month projection. When you see the RFP number for labor, we are spending around $4,833.33 in labor for a month. So that comes out to a total of $54,400. So that's basically 28,800 on labor and utilities minus the total amount of utilities, which is the 14,400. That leaves us with 54,400 for the whole year that we can use for contractual labor or services for landscape. That's how we broke it. And it's a good projection because an RFP process, it's not going to be done in a couple of weeks. It's going to take a couple of months. It normally would take around 3 or 4 months for the whole process to be finished. We already started working on the language for the RFP and all of that, and we would have to add those numbers and the maps and go for the bidding and all that.
Did it take that long for them to come back and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you set up the time for the bid, when you want the bid to be
Yeah.
closed. You can get 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And up to whoever set up the.
Yeah, and we're working together with the other departments, getting the RFP, the actual language, and the contract. And it would be a first time we do this, so we're starting from scratch, basically.
To the example of the Yuma RFP, we did that last year.
Okay. Any other questions or input on?
Are we tracking each improvement district individually, or because here I see like all of them grouped together, but do we know what each district we're spending, and I read somewhere that we're gonna bid them out individually. That makes sense because there's some districts that might require more maintenance than the others, and so what, like currently, what are we doing?
For tracking, we're doing the time study that we started in July, just from scratch, and so we have some hard numbers, not just projections, and that's how we're breaking it apart and trying to work.
But in years past, how do we charge each district? How do we know how much?
It was basically a rollover budget, to be honest. It was based on the projections that were done a while ago, but there was never previously a full-on time study. Yeah.
Mayor. Council.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Mayor.
Hi.
Mayor, this is.
Yes, Rodney's going to speak, and then
This is.
And then Serena. So Mr. Reinhardt's going to speak.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. On that, it is done individually. Each retention does have its own budget because of the size of the retentions, the lighting that's on the retention utilities. So they are done individually. So they are building, and according to the tax money received from each district, it applies to that district. And the expenditures too also. So it is tracked that way. And Serena, if you want to add to that.
Good evening, Mayor.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, all retention revenues are tracked individually in their own account numbers, and all the expenditures associated with each district is also charged to those account numbers. So we are tracking them separately, and when they're allocated, they are Parks is aware of the account numbers that are consistent with each improvement district.
So we're bidding each retention basin, so potentially one might go up, one might go down, depending.
Correct.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you. So it's just discussion then. The winner
Yeah,
put out an RFP and then.
yeah, basically a discussion. I mean, very briefly, there's more pros than cons, of course. The more hands on deck, the better the level of service is going to be. We're going to be able to concentrate more on the projects and all that. Of course, the cons is always going to be the budget. I mean, it's not a high number, 54, but it's a good number to start with and work from there and construct a good system that's actually going to help the city and the parks reflect a better level of service. And the idea is to contract out each individually, like you mentioned. Each district is different, the landscaping, the acreage, the condition itself. But we're trying to do the cleanup right now, so when we're able to contract out, hopefully they're just going to keep doing the maintenance. That's the intention and the idea.
So when is the RFP going to be complete? These two advertise.
To advertise in September, or first part of September, posted. If that's okay with council?
2 weeks.
Yeah, basically.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. Discussion and possible action to approve a memorandum agreement, an MOU between Northern Arizona University Senior Companion Program and City of Somerton.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is another item with Mr. Mesa. Can you?
I'm going to let you go on your bathroom break.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, Council. This is Mr. Parks and Recreation Director. Yeah, I'm trying to seek direction or approval from council to approve the NAU agreement with the Senior Center, Desert Valley Senior Center. It involves basically, it's a program of seniors trying to assist seniors. It's made for any type of resident from the community. They don't have to be students from NAU. They just have to be meet the requirements, which is basically be 60 plus. They're gonna be involved in the community, assist our fellow seniors. And we have several candidates there at the Senior Center. This has been a free program, doesn't cost the city a dime. And it's a very good, it's a positive program for the seniors, feel part of something important, have an impact on the community and stay active. And it's basically a rollover. It's for 1 year, the agreement. And it doesn't involve any kind of commitment or investment from the city.
So is it the first time you have this program, or did you have it previously and then it's just continuation of it?
Yeah, it's a carryover, it's a continuation from last year. It's been positive. I mean, we haven't had that many participants from the city, but we're promoting it. So we have a few candidates that could potentially be part of the program from Somerton.
And the participants need to be over 60?
Over 60, yes.
I think there were 55 somewhere.
55, that.
Which one is it, 55 or?
I heard, from my site manager, she mentioned it was 60, but I can double check. Yep. Yeah.
So seniors?
It's seniors, it's made for seniors, assisting seniors.
Senior, right? So be seniors. 10 years.
Actually, it says here, primarily those ages 50 and older.
50, yeah, so it's even better.
Page 5 of 11.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments?
Comment, I don't know if we because of what we're going through right now with the pandemic and facilities
Yep.
closed and all that, maybe we could hold on until the mayor issues a plan to gradually reopen, then, look into maybe, I can talk to the mayor, maybe we could do the MOU, but put it on hold until there's a gradual reopen of facilities and.
So phase one is.
Yeah, just because of liability issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, so on this agreement, NAU would be taking the liability for their volunteers, but we could definitely talk to them about potentially delaying this until we're fully open and ready to take these volunteers in.
They're not meeting right now, right?
Yes, right now it's not really active. The program is pretty much shut down like most of the other programs, but we can surely mention to them so that they're aware of our situation, that we're not going to be able to promote it and move forward with it until we reopen, but it's not going to affect if we actually, the council approves the MOU.
And Jesus, will you ensure that, I read this MOU that everything here gets followed and everything will be overseeing it?
Yep.
Or will you just rely on Francisco?
No, it's basically a program that NAU monitors, and just their site manager is there promoting it basically. And when we have some actual candidates, we will promote it as a department, monitor the department.
I think what Mr. Castillo is talking about is about actually monitoring the volunteers on site.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. Who does that?
That would be basically mostly Francisco, our site manager. When they are active, we would have a list, of course, the protocol for reopening and all that. And if we have some actual volunteers, she would do the check in and check out. And basically, get them involved with the activities and all that.
Any further questions or comments?
Mayor, I have some comments, questions, and concerns. Okay, first of all, on the memo, it says a one year agreement, but on the agreement itself, it says 3 years, and they put in the actual dates. So is this a 1 year agreement or 3 year agreement? And did legal get an opportunity to review this? And the other thing too is, quite honestly, are we going to be having? My concern is that we're going to be having volunteers there in the facility. I mean, with this whole thing, the pandemic, and I did disagree somewhat with legal, because even though the liability, most of the liability is going to fall with NAU, we're still going to be held liable to a certain degree.
Okay, so on the first question, we're only going to go 1 year on facility size, and we're probably going to put a strike through on the 3 word and just put 1 there. That's an easy fix on the MOU. But the agreement is pretty thorough on the type of background checks that are going to be done on these volunteers and the liability by NAU. Now, as with anything, if the concern is that we'll be liable for COVID-related type stuff, I think the agreement makes it clear that these are independent contractors, these are independent workers. Any of those type of job injuries or COVID-related things that they might get while participating in the program, that NAU would that has to be reported to the NAU contact, and they'll handle that.
Mr. Villalpando, just to provide a little more input on that, if we want to move forward, if the city wants to move forward with this contract, we can always ask NAU, hey, revise it, because they pre-filled the whole contract. They were the ones that erased the dates. It's for 1 year. they could modify it, revise it, and resend it. On the liability side, we would not promote this program until we reopen. As a whole department, we're working on reopening strategy and a waiver that legal is currently revising. We're going to add all the COVID protocol, the guidelines, and all that. So they would have to fill that waiver also, and that's also a backup for us. And so it's not going to be active as of tomorrow or anytime soon. I mean,
So, question, should we correct it and bring it back, or we just approve it and?
You know, my recommendation is the approval with that specific change. It'll go in the minutes, and that's our signal to, if we only have the authority to enter into a 1-year agreement.
Mayor, I have one more question.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, Jesus keeps saying that this is or I might be hearing incorrectly, but I'm hearing that this is a continuation of a previous contract. I don't ever recall us having a contract with NEU.
Yeah, this program was the MOU from last year. It's basically a carryover from last year. We were already part of that program.
Okay, was it approved by council? Because I don't ever recall this.
I would have to double check.
The question directed more towards the rest of the fellow council members, because I don't ever recall us doing anything like this or approving anything like this.
I can confirm
Maybe because we've never had, or last year there were no budget. I don't remember it either, but you know.
But I'm glad that you guys are being considering that hopefully this can come in play after the pandemic, and I don't mind approving this at all with the stipulation that this is not going to be put in play until the mayor and council decide that we could move forward with this, because just like Vice Mayor, I am concerned that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and if we put this into play a little bit sooner than what we should, then you're going to start having people come in sick from the outside and into the senior center.
Mayor, if you feel more comfortable, I don't see that that time is of the essence on this type of agreement, so we can simply table this, get to the answers to those questions about what happened with last year's agreement, and fix the agreement with the correct date. We're closed anyway, so I don't see how that's going to jeopardize this MOU at this time.
Table this item.
You need a motion to table it?
You know, yes, we'll need a motion to table it.
Motion? Motion by Vice Mayor Garcia. Second by Councilman Rodan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 2, discussion and possible action to approve resolution 2020-17, a resolution of mayor and city council, City of Somerton, declaring and adopting the results of the primary election held on August 4th, 2020.
Thank you.
And Mayor Council,
Good evening.
we have Deputy Andrea Moreno here.
Good evening, everyone. The resolution being presented declares and adopts the results of the primary election held on August 4th, 2020. The following are the candidates that received the highest number of votes for the office sought. It's Marta Garcia with 615 votes for council member, Luis Galindo with 495 votes for council member, and Jesus Roldan with 459 votes for council member.
All seats have been filled at the primary election, therefore no general election will be required. And Mr. Lozano will be presenting an election certificate for those council members present. Congratulations.
Can you read the other two candidates final? Just for the record?
Sure. The next candidate with the highest votes was Daniel Paz with 416 votes and Daniel Flores with 338 votes.
And Mayor and Council, we have also attached the certificate of the officer in charge of counting the ballots. We do have a contract with Yuma County who conducts our elections, so that's a certification with your packet as to the number of ballots cast and votes received for each particular individual. As our Deputy City Clerk has mentioned, all three seats have been filled by the top three vote getters.
So I want to congratulate the council members. Hopefully in November, where you're swearing in again, pandemic's over, we can have something here at the City Hall. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Mayor, we would need a motion to approve the resolution.
You want to give the certificates first? Or?
Well, after you declare the winner. The certificate without being a winner.
I'll make the motion to approve.
It's a motion by Councilman Villalpando.
Second.
Second by Castillo. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
So, Mayor and Council, this evening, our Deputy City Clerk is presenting a certificate of election to all of the three candidates that have been elected at the primary election. And this is to certify that Martha Garcia was duly elected council member for the City of Somerton. We're going to get a picture of all you three. This is also a certificate of election that certifies that Jesus Roldan was duly elected council member for the City of Somerton. And also we're issuing a certificate of election. This certifies that Luis Galindo was duly elected council member for the City of Somerton. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Item number 3.
The kids are in the
Chief Tianda?
Number 3.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. The item before you is the possible consideration to approve a change order for our current storage water tank project. The background on this item, as you may know, we hired Superior Tank to perform an inspection on the tank prior to advertise the project in order to identify in advance the damages or deficiencies on this tank. Based on this inspection, And in conjunction with our engineer, we decided to advertise two projects. One is a new bolted tank, and the second to repair the existing tank. After receiving the bids and analyze both proposals, we recommended moving forward with the repair of the tank. Revolution Industrial is our current contractor. When they remove the rafters, they notice heavy rusted areas where the rafters were originally welded, basically on the first 12 inches of the top of the shell. Currently, we hire Canyon State Inspections to conduct an ultrasound test to verify the thickness of the damaged area, specifically on the first 12 inches of the top of the shell. We analyze the results in conjunction with our engineer, and the best approach to solve this issue is to cut the first 12 inches of the top of the shell. This cut will not reduce the capacity of the tank based on our current freeboard space that we have available. We requested a cost proposal for the additional work. After reviewing and negotiating the cost proposal, we came to an agreement of $44,025.25 by removing the non-vital items such as the staircase modification. That item we're gonna hire in-house a local contractor. This is what was more cheap. The proposal was about $12,000, and the local contractor is gonna charge about $4,000. So it's at least is about $6,000 of savings. This work will be done, as I mentioned, with a local contractor. As you know, we require council approval on change orders over $30,000 according to our procurement policy. Mayor and Council, do you have any questions before we move to our staff recommendation?
Questions, comments?
Where will the funds be coming out of?
Our current CIP item? Correct. We also have contingency. The base bid was $601,000. From those, we have almost $29,000 in contingency that we can basically use. So basically, if we remove that or we use this towards a change order, we're only gonna be spending about $15,000. Well, Mayor and Council, if you have any further questions, I want to recommend Council to approve the presented change order for additional work in the amount of $44,025.25.
Any questions, comments? Madam likes questions, huh? Is there a motion? Motion, Vice Mayor Garcia, second with Councilman Rodano, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Discussion of possible action on the renewal of the Yuma Regional Medical Center Base Hospital Medical Control Contract.
Hi, Chief Deanda, are you on the line? Chief? Mayor, I'll present the item for City Council. Basically, what you have in front of you is a renewal as of October 31st, 2020 of an agreement between the Yuma Regional Medical Center and the Somerton Pocopah Fire Department. Yuma Regional Medical Center is declared as our base hospital, and they desire to function as an advanced life support base hospital in accordance with what our current laws and regulations are. And this service agreement simply renews the designation of the hospital as our advanced life support base hospital. They'll provide administrative and online medical direction for all EMTs and paramedics. And as stated, this is a needed agreement that we have so that we are able to continue transporting, our patients to.
Any questions, comments?
Get my choice.
These are the perfect items to be consent agenda. So let's keep in mind.
Make a motion to approve the contract.
Second.
There's a motion by Councilman Rodan, second by Councilman Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Take care. Item number 5, discussion and possible action to approve a grant agreement between the city of Somerton and the state of Arizona, acting through the governor's office for distribution to the local jurisdiction of federal financial assistance from the U.S. Department of Treasury, Coronavirus Relief Fund, catalog of federal domestic assistance number 21.019 as part of the Coronavirus Act Relief and Economic Security CARES Act in the amount of $1,908,000. $1,908,000.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you, Mayor and Council, are aware, about 2 weeks ago, we got notification that our AED CARES funding was approved by the governor. This is just the additional step in trying to secure that funding. So we do have to enter into this grant agreement, and it spells out all the terms and conditions, the obligations by both parties. Once we approve the agreement, it gets downloaded into the state portal, and if everything checks out, we should be receiving money within, as stated there, within a week. So yes, much needed grant that we need, and hopefully the council considers accepting it.
Any concerns? Accepting one
There's no concerns, but I think one of the caveats is that to pass the council because it is 1.1 million.
Questions, comments? Motion?
Make a motion to approve acceptance of the grant agreement.
The motion by Councilman Castillo. Second by Vice Mayor Garcia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Which leads on to our other item of discussion. Now that we've accepted the terms and conditions to receive 1.9 million in funding from AZ CARES, the next item for discussion. Did you call it money?
You did?
You did.
No, the 1.9 was next. Item number 6, discussion and possible action to approve service agreement between Local First Arizona Foundation, 501(c) nonprofit organization, and the city of Somerton to distribute small business grants to qualifying small businesses registered to do business in the city of Somerton. Okay, move on.
So thank you, Mayor and Council. Like as I stated previously, now that we've accepted the terms of the grant agreement, what we have in front of you is the proposal to enter into an agreement to provide small business relief funds. This has actually been in the paper recently as recent as this morning, if you read the local paper. The city of Yuma entered into a similar agreement with the Arizona Community Foundation. We are proposing entering into a similar agreement with Local First Arizona. So the Local First Arizona Foundation would distribute small business grants to small businesses registered to do business here in the city of Somerton. This is a goal to help the goal of the small grants is to help Somerton business survive the crisis of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we're proposing a $100,000 agreement with Local First, and they can distribute as many grants as possible, ranging from $1,500 and capped at $5,000 each, based on criteria established by the city of Somerton. The reason why I'm proposing cap of $5,000, this would mirror the tiers that the city of Yuma set for their community. The city of Yuma has 5 tiers. Effectively, what I did is I'm proposing eliminating tier 4 and 5. So for the city of Yuma, tier 4 businesses are eligible for $7,500, and it basically includes bars. As you're all aware, we don't have any bars here in town. These are, I believe, bars that have just been totally affected and closed throughout the pandemic. Strictly bars, probably like Jimmy D's and Red's Birdcage and those type of bars that don't sell food. So that would be inapplicable in our community. So that's why tier 4 type businesses we don't have, and so we don't have to worry about that. And then the tier 5 businesses are eligible for $10,000, and these are your fitness clubs or indoor gyms with more than 4,500 square feet of space. Again, we don't have those type of establishments. So I think using some of the criteria with our local city here of tier 1, 2, and 3 type businesses, that would put the grants in the range of $1,500, and the maximum grant amount would be $5,000.
That's great, and it'll help our businesses. And something I talked to the city manager, it was that we need to be aggressive with the businesses. So hopefully tomorrow we go and get information and have a meeting with the business owners so they understand how the program works and everything. So I talked to the mayor of Superior, which worked with this company. Within 2 weeks, they had distributed all the money. So hopefully, this is our struggle. Any questions, comments?
I have a question, Mayor. Just, I know, as I read the information, it kind of said that they were going to open a portal, and just, with our demographics, I mean, is the application going to be in English and Spanish, or is it just going to be in English?
Yeah, Mayor and Council Member. Yes, the agency, local officers, they do it in English and Spanish. And actually, they do a very good job in Tucson area, providing the Hispanic community with small loans. And also, in this case, will be grants. They do.
So do we have like a tentative date on when the portal is going to be open, or?
Well, if it's approved tonight, then tomorrow we can contact them to start the website and all the information.
How long are we going to leave it open until we finish the 100K?
Yeah. Yes.
Usually, they'll receive a flood of applications, and they'll go through them and screen and start awarding based on the criteria that we're setting. That's more than enough to get all our funding now.
Do we have everything ready, press release, everything, a plan going?
We do, after, if council approves it tonight, economic development and staff will be visiting what they believe are the businesses that qualify. And we are set to have a small presentation on Thursday at 7 at the water tower, where the mayor and the rest of council can come over, and we'll present this program to the public and to the merchants.
Mayor, if it's approved tonight, tomorrow we start the final local businesses to be there, and also to be aware to apply really soon.
Is there a motion?
I have a question there before we vote on this. So did Arizona Community Foundation not want to do this, or what happened?
No, I reached out to the Arizona Community Foundation, and I got information about the program itself. One of the program coordinators here locally referred me to their coordinator up in the Phoenix area. So in terms of us dealing with a local person, that really wasn't, it's the same for both companies. Secondly, upon reviewing the Arizona, we saw their track record with working with the Hispanic community. And then just over the weekend, we found out that the governor awarded millions of dollars to this particular foundation $10 million to support them in their micro business loans. So, I mean, they all in all, they're both great foundations. They're just great programs. The recommendation was really through the Local First Arizona, and also given the fact that we had a strong reference from of our size and demographics up in Superior.
Okay, and now on my second question is, if we committed $100,000, does that include their fee?
So the contract states it's a $100,000 for the program, and their admin is 5%. So we would take $5,000 as an admin fee, which is payable in two portions. I think the first one was $2,500 within 30 days, and then the other $2,500 within another I think 30 days according to the contract. Now, if the question is what fee does the Arizona Community Foundation charge, then the paper states that they charge the city of Yuma 1.9%. When I inquired what our fee was, I wasn't able to get a local answer. They wanted me to call the state liaison for that, so I really can't tell you whether or not they would honor a 1.9% for us as well.
No, I wasn't going to really ask that. I mean, 5% is still pretty reasonable, but I just wanted to know exactly how much we were going to commit, and also if that organization is going to actually be active in encouraging some of these business owners to apply for that funding, because we're paying 5%. So if we only go through $50,000, they're only going to settle for $2,500.
I think we'll be surprised at the number of people once word gets out, and they just go through everything, and even they'll do all the tier one, all the the ones that really truly qualify. They just go down the list until we've exhausted all of our funding. Just read locally the way businesses are struggling. You'll read in the paper that a few weeks ago the city of Yuma did an additional $300,000 apart from the initial amount they had allocated, because the demand is high, and businesses are qualifying, and they are appreciative of this type of relief.
Well, it just seems like they're charging us basically $2,500 in 30 days, and then $2,500 another 30 days. So my suggestion is that if at 30 days there's still funding available, then you just go back to possibly increasing those limits. Obviously we want that money to be used and injected into our local economy. So I think, quite honestly, if we're gonna be billed 30 and 60 days, might as well make sure that within those 60 days, 100,000 is used up.
Yes, Hector.
Yeah, Mayor, council members, also, it's more like an investment, because if these businesses pay sales tax, now money's going to come back to the city anyway. And also the local office Arizona, they do have administration, their staff, and they call directly the businesses. So those 5% are used to actually for the staff to call these businesses. That's why they move really quick. It will be like an extension of the city economic development to help local businesses.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion? So motion by Vice Mayor Garcia, second by Councilman Roldan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. You guys work for the next 2 days.
Yep. Starting tomorrow.
We got a grocery store.
Summary of current events for future agenda item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We are working on a reopening plan for City Hall and other city facilities that will follow CDC guidelines and rely heavily on the reopening options that are put forth by the local school districts. Luckily, our COVID numbers have dropped significantly. We still have daily infections, but in the 0 to 5 range compared to over 50 daily range a month ago. So we'll continue working on monitoring that. Congratulations to all the winners of the primary election. Moving forward, we do have 2 propositions on the general election for which we hope to receive a yes vote from our residents. We're looking at Proposition 1, which is home rule, and Proposition 2 is the general plan. So the city is prohibited from expending any type of money in favor or against these propositions. And so we're kindly asking all council members to reach out to their constituents and promote participation in their So as you've noticed, our trees on Main Street have a nice trim this week. Hopefully we'll keep the maintenance on them, and that was a public works project. And we're also moving forward in procuring a new refuse truck and a street sweeper. We will be looking into piggybacking into a state contract for that purchase, and I'd be looking to possibly obtaining 2 Freightliner trucks, which is the brand of that new machinery. Finance Director Zarina Gallego says that all documentation for the whip-up board meeting has been submitted to the board, and which will convene on Tuesday, August 20th, in 2 days. The principal forgiveness of this loan is expected to be $564,000, which is the great news that we received last week. The city's electronic municipal market access account has been restored and is now in good standing. The meeting with the Yuma Union High School District Committee on Thursday, August 20th, has to do with the lift station project. It was identified at a previous meeting on Tuesday, August 6th. We will wait for council to convene and provide direction. So this evening we do have an e-session that to discuss some of those items. Also, she will work on a contract review for public works equipment with the public works director, and this has to do with the sweeper and the refuse truck. Right, Jesus Mesa, Parks and Rec Director, says that he's looking to install an additional C19 PPE at the community center, the senior center, and the cultural center in preparation for reopening the facilities. He's also looking into installing additional C19 PPE. But it looks like that was cut and paste of the same item. Okay, so he ordered a backup sanitizing sprayer utilized during reopening of facilities for C19 preventative measures. Carmen Juarez, Community Development Director, says that the Census 2020 self-response percentage has increased in the past 2 weeks with the help of the contract employees who are visiting each house to assist with the questionnaire. As of today, Somerton is at 36.2%. San Luis, 37.9%. We are trailing 1 percentage point. And Yuma is actually at 52.6%. The state is at 60%. National is at 63%. Last day to submit questionnaires is September 30th. our city mayor has been winning the local challenge, most percentage increase in the weeks. Also, continuing to work for rezoning and a minor amendment to the general plan processes for the future elementary school and the high school. Requests will be presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission in September for their review and recommendation before going to council in October for a final motion. And finally, she's saying that staff is reviewing new proposals for projects such as a food court on Main Street, a new church, and commercial additions and remodels. That's Carmen Juarez. All the end of fire chief. His personnel treated 11 COVID-19 patients this last week. This is down from 12 last week. And they used both ambulances simultaneously on 4 different occasions. This Sunday, the 16th, marked the first day that Yuma County didn't register a single COVID-19 death. Sadly, the downward trend for COVID-19 positives in the 85350 area stopped 2 days ago, and we went into 2 positives on the 12th, up to 12 positives on the 14th and 15th. With the amount of testing being greatly decreased, this raises the potential of asymptomatic COVID positives causing additional community spread. It's important for all of us in leadership positions to encourage their loved ones, subordinates, neighbors to consider testing anytime they visit the city of a day trip or vacation. As the pandemic continues, people are more anxious to answer their pants. As more people take the risk of leaving town for some relaxation, they raise the chances that they will be infected. Once they return home and back to work, if they are asymptomatic, they will cause resurgence of community spread. Now, Battalion Chief has submitted an emergency response fund grant to the Yuma County Division of Emergency Services. He's requesting 2 Class A hazardous material suits for $1,960, 20 pails of F500 suppression foam, $3,180, hazmat and containment berm, $712, and 4 secure fit full face shield helmets for $384. Hector Tapia. Grocery store recruitment project. Retail coach company completed the first phase of the customer base and the mapping of the trade area that will be used to recruit grocery store companies. An update of the work done so far will be presented at the September 1st, 2020 City Council meeting. Making Somerton a smart city by building a citywide fiber optic network. One major question asked by high-tech manufacturing companies is about the availability of fiber optic in the city. Economic Development is looking at available options to get it done. The initial intent is to link all city facilities, including parks, and to have the central office at the City Hall building. Main Street Facade Loan Program. Property at 316 West Main Street is almost complete with the remodel. It should be ready for leasing very soon. 2 other properties are pending. San Palacios Public Works, Zocalo Gardens water main replacement and street reconstruction project, CDBG. Project is 100% completed. Contractor submitted the last invoice for payment process. The Cesar Chavez Avenue traffic signal and street reconstruction project. Bid opening was performed last week on Thursday. We received 3 bids, and all 3 bids were higher than the engineered cost estimate and more than the allocated budget amount. Lowest bidder was DPE with a base bid of $1.371 million. We are exploring options to reduce the cost of the project. The item with the major cost difference was the traffic signal. And the water tank rehab project, contractor completed welding all the metal sheets for the floor of the tank. Araceli Juarez, Chief of Police, says that we're working on the last hire of an officer and a dispatcher. So incidentally, we almost cut up with all our hires, and that little increase that council gave us is helping a lot. Today, all command staff attended officer-involved shooting investigations training. They continue to provide service on all calls with proper PPE, and they've modified their dispatcher schedule in order to have 2 dispatchers during the busiest time of day. And Mayor and Council, that's all we have from the department heads. Sam, go ahead.
You had your chance, Sam.
I just wanna, you probably already know about the excellent and great news. Our CDBG SSP project was considered and awarded by the Arizona Department of Housing. We will receive $500,000 for this project. I just wanna thank Vidal Ochoa and especially Yolanda Galindo. She helped us a lot on this grant, and we put a lot of effort on this application. And the results are here, so we got the grant. Thank you.
After what, third time?
Second.
Yeah?
Second.
Yeah, that's good. You know, we had heard that they weren't awarding street projects, and it was a lot of hard work, and also Yolanda knows people there that help.
Correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Councilman Gonzalez.
First of all, I want to congratulate the newly elected officials, Marta, Jesus, and Luis. And I just want to give kudos to the public works staff for beautifying Main Street. Thank you for that, Jorge. I know that I've been pushing for that, and so do the other rest of the council members. But
that's what we.
Yeah, that's all I have, Mayor.
Yeah, because there's been different philosophies on the tree. Some like it lush, some don't. So.
I think overall, speaking our public works director, they were getting a little bit out of hand already, and now they're going to keep it a nice.
Because I was wondering, because when Bill was here, trees were not, we've heard, so that's always been a contention. So like, just let the rest of council and get a feel what they want. Because I wasn't aware, but I did see it. Like, what the heck is that? I don't know. It's just aesthetics, and yeah. So let's just be more with communicating with council. And it's not an agenda item, but at least to see what some people do like the trees. They think they're aesthetic. The subjective beautifying. Now, Vice Mayor.
Just congratulations to my fellow Congressman.
You're not a work right now.
Jump to November.
You've been watching the DMP. You're not working already.
And just not to forget, I think Councilman Castillo had mentioned about putting in future agenda items on the raises and stuff like that. Just not to forget. Okay, sorry.
We're on the same page. Councilman Villapando.
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thanks.
Councilman Galindo.
No, nothing. Thank you.
Councilman Castillo.
Just congratulations, Councilman Roldan, Councilman Galindo, Vice Mayor Garcia. Congratulations. And on behalf, I was just gonna suggest to add to our agenda our current practice that's in place whenever an employee requests a salary increase, we should have it for discussion. The Vice Mayor said earlier for our next meeting. That's it.
Councilman Roldan.
Something, congratulations to Martha and Salim. And also, I know we talked about the districts. If we can get Serena, they can just let us know. I think it will be good for the council to know what the amount of each district, it has in it, so they can realize all the things that is taking place. I think you'll be surprised of the budget of each
I think that's probably good.
Did you want the amount for each district?
Yeah, per district, yeah. In years past during the budget process, they would give a breakdown, but we just gives it just get it like, that's more of understanding, it just keeps everything in perspective. For me, we won the challenge, the census challenge, so keep promoting. I know Forefronted has released, like they had the check with the Chamber of Commerce, with the businesses and promoting the business. The City of Yuma did a very good job in promoting. City of Somerton, not so much. You know, this is a Forefronted challenge, but hopefully the city through their websites and everything get with the program and start promoting those. I saw Mayor Nichols and he was promoting the businesses, promoting, you know, so hopefully, you know, as a city, we start promoting also like those businesses. I don't know. I know AEA was the only local business I saw that did the employee census challenge. I don't know if the City of Somerton did it, but City of Yuma did it. So we can keep an eye on those type of just I guess what can you call it? Games or you know, to just put it out there. What we're doing, but yeah, try to join the
Mayor, sad to report that the majority of our employees and upper level management lives in the city of Yuma, so I don't know.
Yeah, but it's important. Like we all benefit as a city, as a state. So it's just Jorge said, we discussed reopening of the city, and one of the things that we said we're going to strictly follow what the CDC guidelines is. We're not going to cut any corners. So if the numbers say we're going to start reopening, maybe in a phased approach, maybe just a couple days a week, start opening to the public with masks, with everything. But I want to ensure that we really look at the numbers, the science, and when we start reopening. Something that that we've been discussing. So that's why staff is looking at reopening plans. Because if hopefully the trends continue and we start seeing those numbers, so I think we're pretty close to start reopening. And we have an executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn to executive session? Second. There's a motion by Councilman Galindo, second by Councilman Román. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.